Hello dear student, very good evening to all. Today we are going to discuss about the day 4 polity model answer. Student, before going to discuss about the model answer, let me give a small introduction about myself. Dear student, I have given 5 mains and the interview in CSE 2022. During this long journey of preparation, I have come across different kind of challenges in answer writing. So I am trying to put all my knowledge over the period of time that will be going to help you to overcome the fear that currently you are facing in answer writing. So please watch all the video continuously. Definitely you will get lot of insight, and ultimately I am giving you the guarantee that you will overcome the fear of answer writing. ठीक है. If you want to watch the video previous video lecture, you can also watch in the video like day 1, day 2, day 3, that is already available in our channel. Please go and watch. Okay, let us start the questions. The first question is let's read out the question. The Indian constitution maker balance between the fundamental right of the individuals and the collective right of the society. Elucidate with examples. Okay. So you have to write this in a 150 words, 10 marks and 7 minutes. So first you need to try to understand the core demand of the questions. What is the core demand of the question? The Indian constitution maker balance between the fundamental right, that means your own right, individual rights versus society. Okay. The question is talking about the constitution make a balance, balance between the individual right, that is individual right of myself, I am a human being, so myself having some individual right, and versus society, because I am part of the society, so society also needs to have some fundamental, so that there should be a peace, harmony, tranquility in the society. So we need to we need to elucidate with example. What is the meaning of elucidate? Explain or simplify. मतलब आप बताओ जो चीज़ें यहाँ मैंशनड है, यू नीड टू एक्सप्लेन इन ए वेरी सिंपल वर्ड हाउ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मेक ए परफेक्ट बैलेंस बिटवीन द फंडामेंटल राइट ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल एंड द राइट ऑफ द सोसाइटी. ठीक है, कलेक्टिव राइट ऑफ द सोसाइटी, बिकॉज सोसाइटी एज ए कलेक्टिव नीड्स टू हैव सम प्रिंसिपल सो दैट वी कैन प्रोटेक्ट the society, make society more harmonious. Okay, already dear student, I have discussed about how you can write a very good answer framework like introduction, body and conclusion. Please watch the first lecture, that is the basics of answer writing. I have already discussed that. So as I have already mentioned, you need to write a good introductions. Okay, here you can write the Indian constitution strike a balance between the fundamental right of individuals and the collective right of the society, ensuring individual freedom do not infringe upon the larger public interest and vice versa. That means our constitution make a balance in a such way that the individual freedom you are enjoying, it should not impact the collective right of the society. For example, you have the freedom of speech and expression, but that doesn't means you can go on speak anyone to like anything to anyone. You cannot defame, यू कैन नॉट आप किसी को कुछ नहीं बोल सकते हैं, किसी का इमेज को ख़राब नहीं कर सकते हैं, किसी को गाली नहीं दे सकते हैं, क्योंकि ये एक सोशल कलेक्टिव राइट है. दो यू हैव द राइट टू फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन, बट एट द सेम टाइम यू विल ऑल्सो हैव टू रेस्पेक्ट द राइट ऑफ द अदर्स. ठीक है, सो दिस इज़ व्हाट अबाउट द इंट्रोडक्शन. दिस इंट्रोडक्शन यू कैन ऑल्सो राइट इन अनदर वे. यू कैन यूज लाइक पार्ट 3 of our Indian constitution provide for the fundamental right, and under this fundamental right it provide a well balanced framework for the individual right of the individual as well as versus the right collective right of the society, so that we can ensure peace, harmony, tranquility and constant progress of our society. You can also write that as well. So any type of introduction you can write, either you can go for this or you can use the part 3 of the constitution provide for fundamental right, and fundamental right strike a perfect balance between the right of the individual versus the right of the collective right of the society to bring peace, tranquility, then justice. ठीक है, all these things. Then just like question is asking balance between the fundamental right and individual and collective right of the society. You need to explain this with example. Now you need to explore different to discuss though fundamental right provide the right of the individual, but at the same time it also provide the collective right of the society. So you need to put a very good heading, the balance the balance between the fundamental right of individuals versus the collective right of the society and put that in box. ठीक है, बॉक्स में लिखना है, आप जो जो मेन हेडिंग होता है उसको बॉक्स में लिखना है. देन दिस इज योर सब हेडिंग, द फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच वर्सेस पब्लिक ऑर्डर. ठीक है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल राइट टू प्रोटेस्ट, दो प्रोटेस्ट इज नॉट ए फंडामेंटल राइट बट डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन. ठीक है, राइट टू डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन कैन बी ए फंडामेंटल राइट, but under the freedom, like right to demonstration can be a fundamental right under the freedom of speech and expression. You can also extend like right to protest can be a extended fundamental right, but it is cannot be a fundamental right. ठीक है, so you can write here. Then if the protest turn into violent, disrupt the public order, state impose restriction or curfew to maintain peace. ठीक है, दो यू हैव द राइट टू डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन, राइट टू हड़ताल, राइट टू लॉकआउट और प्रोटेस्ट, पीसफुल प्रोटेस्ट, बट एट द सेम टाइम दिस द पीसफुल प्रोटेस्ट कैन नॉट बी वायलेंट. सो आप यू माइट बी नोइंग अबाउट द सेक्शन 144 में बी इम्पोज. ठीक है, सेक्शन 144 में भी इम्पोज, वेन एवर यू विल बिकेम ए DM, सो यू विल इम्पोज द सेक्शन 144 दैट रेस्ट्रिक्ट द मूवमेंट ऑफ द पीपल. ठीक है, सो इन केस ऑफ यू फाइंड दैट देर इज ए थ्रेट टू द पब्लिक ऑर्डर, यू कैन इम्पोज सेक्शन 144. ठीक है, देन नेक्स्ट इज फ्रीडम ऑफ प्रेस वर्सेस कंटेम्प्ट ऑफ कोर्ट. For example, you have the freedom of speech to say anything. That doesn't mean you can go on speaking anything to anyone. You cannot comment the Supreme Court judgment or judges. You cannot comment upon the dignity, right of the individual. Freedom of the press is derived from the freedom of speech and expression under Article 19(1)(a). However, the reporting interference with the undermine authority of judiciary can be restricted under the law related to contempt of court, balancing the freedom of the press with the integrity of judicial process. ठीक है, that means though press are provided with the fundamental right of freedom of speech and expression, that doesn't mean they can go on speak anything and impact the delivery of the justice. ठीक है, so to ensure that justice should be delivered in a impartial, non-biased manner, so this right need to be balanced. ठीक है, the next is right to information versus state security. For example, right to information act empower citizens to access the information from public authority. Right to information act in 2005 gave a right to you to access any information from the public authority, but however the information related to national security, sovereignty and integrity of India and sensitive data is exempted to protect the state security and public interest. That means though you have the right to information, you cannot seek sensitive information. You cannot ask government provide the location of the nuclear installation in India or provide me the detail of the security deployment. No, we cannot provide. If you provide that information, that will harm our national interest. So here we need to give more power to the society and need to curb the individual right. Okay, then right to privacy versus national security. The Supreme Court of India in landmark judgment, Puttaswamy judgment, declare their right to privacy is a fundamental right under Article 21. ठीक है, however this right can be restricted for legitimate state interests like national security or preventing crime. जैसे दो यू हैव द राइट टू प्राइवेसी, दैट मीन्स योर information cannot be accessed by anyone, but for national security, for national interest, it can be accessed to give broader or to bring more benefit to the society. Here we follow the utilitarian principle. That is maximum good to the maximum number of people, to bring maximum welfare to the maximum number of people. So right to privacy versus national security. The next is right to equality versus right affirmative actions. Affirmative action means reservations. You might be knowing that in Indian Constitution we are providing reservation for education, job and politics. ठीक है, so Article 14 guarantee right to equality. ठीक है, Article 14 आपको देता है right to equality. However, the achieving social justice and upliftment of marginalized communities, state implement affirmative action or affirmative policy like reservation in education, employment and politics. ठीक है, देखो, if everyone has to compete on the equal basis, so there are people from the backward section, they are not able to compete with the already the advanced section of the society. So state need to provide some kind of reservation so that there should be a level playing field. Okay. Then next is freedom of religion versus social reform. The article 25 grant the individual freedom to practice propagate their religions. Okay, you have the right to practice and propagate whatever your religions. Okay, however the practice are in conflict with public health morality, like untouchability, child marriage can be regulated or prohibited. Example, recently a classic example is Sabarimala temple. Women are allowed, the women in the menstruating age are allowed to enter into Sabarimala temple. Is a classic example of religious freedom of religious versus social reform, because this temple norms impose a woman the restriction. Okay, restriction just because of their menstruating age. Their age is in between menstruating age. Okay. Then right to property versus eminent domain. Initially, for example, initially the right to property was a fundamental right under Article 31 of Indian Constitution, but later it was changed to the constitutional right under Article 300A. Initially it was a fundamental right, but later on, by amending the Constitution, which constitutional amendment? 44th Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay, it was included in Article 300A. The state can acquire private property for public purpose with appropriate compensation, balancing the individual property right with societal needs. That means if there is a need for the property to be acquired to bring more benefit for the society, nation, state, then it can be acquired, but provided that they need to provide compensate the individual. Okay. Then freedom of trade. The next question is freedom of trade, commerce versus public interest. The Article 19(1)(g) guarantee freedom of practice of any profession or to carry out any occupations, trade, business. However, the state can impose reasonable restriction in the interest of public health, regulation of medical practice, okay, and safety, licensing of hazardous chemicals or trade morality, prohibition of human trafficking. ठीक है, देखो, you have the right to conduct pursue any kind of trade or any kind of professions to earn economical activity, but that right should not be misused to carry out. For example, if you don't know about medical practice, don't have any medical knowledge, don't have any medical degree, still you are practicing some medical, prescribing medicines, that will be more harmful to the people. That is the reason state can prescribe the qualifications. And next is safety. You might be knowing there are number of accidents as going on. If there is no proper safety criteria, then it will bring more hazardous. So safety, for example, licensing for hazardous trade. For example, morality. Your trade or any profession should not include any activity that is immoral, like trafficking of human being, prostitution, or organ trade. This should be strictly prohibited. Okay. This is all about body. You can explore more point as well, more point also. So try to add more point if you find. Okay. Then after the body, you can add a conclusions. Okay. In Indian Constitution, endeavor to protect the individual freedom while ensuring that these do not compromise the collective right and interest of the society. Okay. So what our constitution do is that in our constitution, endeavor to protect the individual freedom while ensuring that do not compromise the collective right and interest of the society. ठीक है, आपको freedom है, you have the freedom to do basic you have the freedom for all your development, all round development of your personality, but at the same time that freedom should not impact the society or our state or nation at the large. ठीक है, so there is a restriction that is imposed by the state or nation to ensure that this delicate balance is crucial for maintaining social harmony and advancing national democratic value. ठीक है, this is all about the answer.